Welcome back to Real Talk for an Unreal World. I just want to say I always appreciate everyone who is listening to this. I've come a long way in my life with the things that I have overcome. For those of you that are listening to this for the first time, for 23 years, I was a drug addict, put there by trauma and an inability to talk about my emotions. I couldn't communicate about how I felt to other people because I didn't trust anyone, and I was never given the tools how to do that, to open up. I had a wonderful family, but they couldn't teach me the things that I needed to learn. So I turned to ready available substances that helped me not feel. Now, most of us do that already, whether subconsciously or consciously. It's just the level of feeling that we're trying to eliminate that we can associate with. My level of feeling that I wanted to eliminate was very great. So I turned to substances that were of a great deal, like drugs. Drugs help me. They help me not think. They help me not feel. It just was a distraction from not being able to process something. You don't have to be a drug addict to know what it's like to store unprocessed emotions. Our distractions are all different, whether it's shopping, whether it's food, whether it's porn, whether it's video games, social media, television, or work. And for some, it's money. Whatever is taking your attention away from the things that are going on inside of you. Because let's be real, everything that matters is going on inside of you. That's where the most priceless things are found. But we're not given the tools in this life how to venture within ourselves and unlock doors that hold an immense amount of pain or unprocessed emotions, which is dense energy, and that keeps us in a low vibrational state. So for some people, that are curious about why they're negative, or they see individuals around them that are constantly negative, these are signs of unprocessed emotions. And that's what it does. It throws us into a low vibrational state because we store them deep within us, and we're not taught how to let go, how to process and let go and make room for something new. So we stay inside of what's comfortable for us. And that's a very detrimental place to be, and it's frustrating. So the sign of frustration is usually anger. That's a way that we can display a frustration. So when we look at these kind of things and we see how that impacts our lives, to be angry and frustrated from an inability to know something, it holds us back from growth, because we're not here. Let's be real. You're not here to save money and work your whole life at some job that doesn't recognize your worth and value. It dictates your worth and value through financial gain, or maybe financial minimalism, because that's the reality of the life that we live today. Is we're taught to believe that retirement is our destination of freedom. And that to me is just untrue. Because if that's what I'm here to do is be a cog in a wheel for a machine that generates profit that doesn't actually need it, well, that doesn't work for me, and it doesn't just not work for me, it doesn't work for many, because I have been doing this now for a year where I put my life out there and I use my life as an experiment and an example as to how to alleviate yourself from stress, anxiety, depression, trauma, and inability to communicate about how you feel. Because 3.5 years ago, I got out of jail. I was homeless and I had nothing. So within 6 months, I completely changed my life. I never looked back to drug addiction. And I'll walk you through a little bit of the drug addiction. 14 years old, I started using marijuana, and that led me to mushrooms, acid, ecstasy at 15. 16, heavily into cocaine, crack, halfway through my 16. 17, I was introduced to heroin, and 19, I was introduced to the needle. So everything went in the needle after I was 19 years old, because that's what happens when you're looking for an escape that will have you not feel. So I needed my mind to be anywhere other than inside of me. So everything external from me was acceptable. And the things that I valued that were external from me was drugs, because that had me not feel about what was going on inside of me. So, I overdosed 33 times. I essentially should not be here. Many of my friends and acquaintances that I knew while being homeless and still currently today are dying. 0.1% of people actually come out of the things that I went through. And I know without a doubt how lucky I am, and I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm here, because so many of my other friends, they overdosed one time and they never made it. I got 33. That number's a powerful number in itself if you know anything about numerology, but we won't go there right now. But what I'm saying is it was a gift, for me to be here. And I feel like the things that are inside of me that I went through, I'm meant to share. I'm meant to talk about it because, people meet me and they go, man, like your story, like that's crazy. Like, how did you overcome that, And I had an understanding of love given to me. I asked for it to come into my life. I surrendered my love to Jesus. That, I will say right now, offered me no affiliation with religion. I never, I don't read the Bible. Scriptures don't do it for me. Church is an organization that incurs profit and doesn't distribute wealth in the manner that it says that it does. So I know that that organization is just filled with profit control and greed. So I have no association with that whatsoever. But I'm not knocking it. I mean, if religion's your thing and that works for you, hey, like teach their own. We're all on our own journey. I have learned in my life that who am I to judge? I've been through things in my life that have taught me beautiful things. And maybe somebody being inside the path of religion is going to teach them beautiful things. I have no idea. But for me personally, when I was in my jail cell, I was reading a book. And the book was about a guy named Matt Gober. And the book was called Unchained. And that book was basically about the man's life. And the man came to have all these beautiful things after an extremely difficult life as a veteran, as a biker, as a drug dealer, as a drug addict. And I looked at my life in that moment in jail when I had nothing and I had nobody. No one gave a shit about me. I had lost everything around me, but more importantly, I'd lost myself. I was at a bottom that I'd been looking for quite some time, but I was there. And in that moment, that book found me. And the guy said in the book that he surrendered his love to Jesus. And I thought, you know what? Shit, man. Like, I got nothing and I got nobody. I mean, like, this guy's got something beautiful. Like, that's just where I was in that moment. Just to paint a picture, of why I spoke the words I spoke. To me, Jesus is a spiritual teacher, just like Buddha, just like Allah, just like Krishna. But man took the teachings of Jesus and Buddha and Krishna and they twisted them into a business and into control and into an idea to distribute fear, when everything that these individuals were doing was emulating love, but guiding you to love through experience, not scaring you away from trying anything and everything. So my philosophies and ideas surrounding religion are far different from those of religion, but they're ones that I come to understand on my own, which is beautiful because, I mean, that's what it's meant to be. You're meant to arrive to an understanding of spirituality on your own. Religion will tell you how to get there. And that kind of twists it for me because if you tell somebody how to do something, you're giving them an idea and a narrative through an agenda of your own thinking, right? So we need to arrive to our own conclusions in order for them to make a home inside of us because we've figured them out for ourselves. So throughout my life of drug addiction, and with this speaking of these beautiful words, it was a key. It was a key. In that moment in my jail cell, I immediately started crying after I spoke the words. Like, and I mean immediately. And I'm talking about, like, I'm in jail, right? Like, my cellmate's underneath me. Thank the Lord he was sleeping. So jail's no place for crying, right? But it happened. I was crying my eyes out, and I started, like, it felt like I was floating, in the jail cell. And for those of you that have heard some of the previous podcast episodes, I know you've heard this, but I really wanted to explain it today differently, more authentically, more honestly, and more about who I am, because I'd like people to know why I do what I do. So in that moment, I felt like I was levitating. I was not levitating, absolutely not. But the vibrational frequency that ran through my body was that of an understanding of love and peace. So speaking the words, surrendering my love to Jesus with an intention, because it wasn't just like, oh, I surrender my love to Jesus, In that moment, man, it was everything that I had. And I've come to think about this after, why it worked. And I believe with all my heart that it was the intention that I put into the words to speak the words that nothing came inside of me. Because for the longest time, I thought something came inside of me, but that's not true. Nothing came inside of me. What happened is it came out of me. It was already inside of me because we all come from a place of love, right? Like that's what the soul is. The soul is pure love. It just comes here to learn. And we learn through difficult experiences. Struggle teaches us the greatest lessons. But in this life, in this physical life, we're taught that struggle means that you're not okay. So you have to hide that. So we don't talk about our struggles, therefore they hold us back. So that's a big thing about what this podcast is I talk about struggle as being an asset on your journey because you don't need nothing from nobody. The greatest thing that I can offer you is perspective because that's exactly what happened to me in my life. And that's why my life changed. Perspective changed everything for me. So I want to share that with you, and I want you to know where I came from and where I am. It was beautiful. But intention through those words was absolutely key. So anybody who's listening to this that's in active addiction, that has mental health, that has emotional health, you don't have to be an addict to do this. But I want you to know, if you are sick and tired, and you're tired and sick, then ask for love to come into your life, however that looks for you. You don't have to do it the same way I did it. I only did it that way because what was in front of me was guiding me to do it that way. And it was correct. It worked for me. It was very beautiful. So I can't deny that. I can't deny ever that that didn't happen to me because it did. Again, my association with the religious aspects is completely separate. I don't have anything to do with that because it didn't demand anything from me. So I will also share with you my idea of what church is. This idea of church, all these places around with crosses and money, 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 right? The buildings are just old and beautiful. Like, I mean, we're talking a lot of money here, right? Even think about when some of these churches were built, like religion has been a PowerPoint on this planet for finance for quite some time. But for me, what was demanded of me in my moment of awareness was people with less, you know, anybody that was struggling, that didn't have much, what could I offer them? I obviously didn't have money, so I got out of jail homeless, and I had nowhere to go. Like that story is wild in itself. But I knew that I could offer my time. I could offer and share my experience through addiction and the things that helped me evolve through it. So that was kind of beautiful because I thought, wow, like anybody who's experiencing an inability to process emotions or an inability to see trauma from another perspective, well, I had to go through the same thing. And look at what it did for me in my life. I have all these wonderful things today, but more so, the two priceless things that I have are peace and freedom, inner peace and freedom. And I absolutely mean that. It's not something that I need to sell you on or anything like that. Like, I'm free. I'm not in recovery. I don't need to give every waking moment of my power to some entity that's outside of me. I don't do that. I found the power within me. And that power demanded me to look inside of myself and believe in myself because once I found the power, I knew where it was. I knew it was inside of me. So I didn't have to give that to anyone or anything outside of me. All I had to do was be grateful and appreciative of what was inside of me. So that turned my perspective in. That's what helped me alleviate myself from all of the things that were holding me back because my time, energy, and attention were now focused on what was going on inside of me. Now, that's a beautiful thing. When you don't have to think about something on the outside of you, to fix you, something you can't see, but you hope is there, it gives you a lot more substance, a lot more validity, because you can do the things that are going to evolve you into whatever you want to be. That was one of the first things. The second thing was the way I thought. So I knew that if I was going to be the things that I knew I could be, I knew I would have to believe that and think that. Because how you think is how you feel, and how you feel is how you think. So that's very, very important along your journey. And I mean, clean your mind, like if you're watching scary movies all the time, or you're watching social media that's just not good for you, that's filled with content creators that are judging other individuals or putting other people down. I mean, think of the headspace that you're putting yourself in subconsciously. These are the people that you're surrounding yourself with. So it's very important to remember that. remember who you are. Remember who you want to be. Clean your mind, clean your body, clean your soul. When people ask me, like, how did I do it? Like, this is how I did it. Like, this is how I did it. I'm not special. I'm not unique. I'm logical. So logic dictates me to look and make a map out of a destination that I want to arrive to. Now, I can't just arrive at the destination. I have to take a look at the steps that get me there. Now, that's very important to appreciate those things. And me personally, as a Scorpio, I want everything done right now. I want it fast, I want it hard, and I want it easy. So I was able to take some of my astrological gifts through my characteristics and apply them into this method. And I mean, you could do that too on your own terms. But when you look at that, no matter how you look at it, you've got to go slow because you're right where you're meant to be. And that's another thing a lot of people say to me is like, how do I evolve quicker? How do I get to this place of awareness and understanding quicker? It's like, well, you can't really get there quicker because you're right where you're meant to be. If you just lift the veil with everything that's going on in your life, it'll be a lot. And ascension or the evolution or the process of emotions or the process of trauma, however we want to look at it, because those are all the same things, is a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. Everything that I've been through for 3.5 years, I feel like this year I finally figured it out. It took me 3.5 years, of dedication, of awareness, of understanding, of making mistakes. I made so many mistakes over the course of this last 3.5 years. I mean, okay, cool. I got out of jail. I had an awareness about me. I understood love and love embraced me and I was free from my addiction. Wonderful. Basically, I walked out of jail. I was a different human. But I wasn't completely different because externally from me, the distractions that were leading me away from looking inside of me were gone. I was alleviated from that, which is, I'm so grateful for it. Very beautiful. You can do the same. I'm not special. I'm not unique. I'm just a human being. So I always want to make that very clear to everybody because I'm not anything more or less than you. So with that, I then had everything that was going on inside of me. So I still didn't have the tools to process the things that were going on inside of me. And I started making the same mistakes. So I was running away from my pain. I was hiding from my darkness. And this translated in my relationship. I built walls up in my relationship. I met a woman who is absolutely wonderful. She is the most pure thing I have ever met in my life, but she was an example of what it meant to be free and to have peace. But I didn't understand it. I could see it in her and I was so attracted to it because it's so beautiful, but I didn't know how to achieve that in myself. So through making many, many mistakes, and through her God-given patience with me, she guided me, she guided me subconsciously to myself. And basically what that looked like, I'll share this with you because this just happened maybe 9 days ago. For the first time in my life, I shared with somebody the things that I never ever talked about in my life, like the loss of my kids and what that meant to me. The lying, the cheating, the stealing that I had done in my life, my relationship with my brother. Like these things were detrimental to me. They were something that I was locking away inside of me, along with other things within my family. It may sound small, but they're not small because trauma is just that of which holds an individual back from escaping a feeling. So I couldn't escape these feelings, so I escaped the relationship or anybody who was trying to get close to me. So I realized that I'd never actually let anybody love me in my life. From my own conscious point of view, say like 8 years old. From the time I was able to make decisions that would push people away. And I believe I followed it back till the time I was like 8. I can remember things from when I was 2 and 3 years old. I don't know how. It's just something that I can do. I have a very visual memory. And since I've had this awakening or this awareness happen within me, gifts of conscious intuition or conscious understanding have grown immensely. And I think that that's something that can happen for all of us. So that's really important for me to kind of share with you because peace and freedom through perspective is what I'm offering. That's why I want you to continue listening to the things that I'm doing And the reason I'm doing this today in this method is because I feel like, I've been myself throughout this thing. But up until 9 days ago, I was holding things inside that caused me not to be my true authentic self because I was still hiding from myself. So when I talked about things on my podcast, I still was speaking from a place of love, but now I speak from a place of authenticity as well because I was able to do the things that I talk about, which is very beautiful. And for me, it was a little frustrating to know all the things I know, but not be able to fully practice them. So I'm actually super grateful to be able to tell you the truth about that as well. I tried to do a podcast about this like 2 times the other day, and I couldn't get the words right for nothing. So I'm really happy that that translated very beautifully right now because something that I do is tell the truth. I've made mistakes in my personal life and with myself. I've lied to myself and in my personal relationship. I've also lied within that. Every time that I do that, I know I'm held back. So I feel like for the first time in my life, maybe back from since when I was a child, I'm me again. And that's something that I can help you with. And this is why I'm here. This is why I use my life as an example. And this is why I talk about everything I've been through because we're no different, right? If you've got things going on inside of you, I want to help you unlock those things. And by using my life as an example, you can see that there's results. And I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't steal. I tell everybody the truth. And that's why I've been holding back. Many of you that have been listening to this podcast for quite some time, I keep saying, I'm going to step it up. I'm going to step it up. I'm going to step it up. I'm going to get better at this. I'm going to get better at this. Well, I'll tell you why. The reason I never could step it up and do the things I wanted to do is because I was building walls around me from people getting in. And I let you in to a degree through my podcast episodes, absolutely. But I never fully let you in. And I've done that now, and I'm doing that now. So this episode is very, very important to me because it is the most authentic I have ever been. And I have not felt this good. God, I don't even know. Like it's been a minute. No, shouldn't even say that like that. You know what I mean? That term, it's like, what does it mean, been a minute? But yeah, freaking kids these days, using this shit. But for real, it's been a while. It's been a long, long time. And I'm super grateful for my wife to be able to be patient with me and to have helped me unlock another portion of me. I've been given 2 keys in my life. That first key unlocked love within my heart. It opened it up when I spoke those words in jail. I cannot deny it. It happened. I changed overnight. Unbelievable. It is, 0.1% of people come out of the things that I went through. That's wild. The second key I was given was to unlock the stored pain and learn about how to communicating about how I feel. So that's so important and it's so valuable. And I know it's hard. Like, I know that one is a very common for us that holds us all back. So what can I do for you? Like, why do you listen to this? What's the point, right? Well, the point is that we can have shared experience. We can learn from each other through lived experience about the things that we went through because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, and I'm not a therapist. What I am is a human being who has lived a life that has taught me many, many, many practices of psychology, of therapy, of an understanding of human relationship with emotions and the mind. And the mind, when I say the mind, we have 2 minds in the body. There is one in the brain, which we know about in our head, which is the one that confuses us the most. And there is another mind, which is found in the heart. Scientists have just discovered this, or I believe they've just started talking about it because, let's be real. How much money goes into medical research? Like, you're telling me you didn't know that there was an entire functioning brain inside of a heart? Like, come on. But that's where we are meant to think from. They say that in life, the longest journey you will walk is 12 inches, and that is from your head to your heart. And I believe that with everything that is in my soul. But I did it. I walked it. I made it. I actually made it. And damn, it's far. Like, it's as far as we make it, but like, shit, man. Yeah, it was a long walk for me. Through everything, through all those poor practices of psychological behaviors, through all my limited beliefs, through all of the learned behaviors that everyone taught me was supposed to be acceptable for me, that would help me grow, that would help me evolve, that was actually completely detrimental to my growth, I didn't go over any of that stuff. I went through it. And that's a real big thing about what I'm doing is we're going to go through things together. So that's important because if we go through something, we're going to make it through. And I want that to be something that everyone is encouraged to do within them because money's not going to set you free. I know quite a few people these days that are extremely wealthy and they don't have the peace and freedom that I talk about. And how do I know this? Because I'm real. And I'm real with everybody. They know straight up, I don't give a shit about their bank account. Everything that matters to me is what's in the heart. So, and I speak to everybody the same, and I'll say that to people, and you know what? They like it. People with money are like, man, nobody talks to me the way you talk to me. And it's like, yeah, because I don't see you like that. Like your numbers in your bank account don't define who you are. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. I'm going to tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're being one, I mean, I think it's good as a friend to say, hey, bro, like that's kind of a shitty way to be in life because you're missing it. And if you're real about that, authentic, and that comes from a place of love, it's a beautiful thing to translate that to somebody. And they can sit with that however they want to sit with that. But I'd rather be known as the friend that was like, hey, man, like, think about the things that you're saying. You might have hurt that individual. You might have put them down and you judge them like that. Like, what does that say about you? Like, sometimes people don't talk like that. Actually, very often people don't talk like that. A lot of people that know me tell me people don't talk like you. And I like that, to be honest with you. I do. I like it because I've just found something, inside of me, and I'm not afraid to share it, and I'm not afraid to talk about it, and I know it's not going to be for everybody, and I don't need to be friends with everybody because I'm friends with myself. Self-love and self-care is so much more than bath bombs and getting your hair done. Like I say this all the time. I can appreciate taking care of the external vessel for sure, but what's going on inside of that is where true application of love and care comes in because that translates sovereignty. When you're sovereign within yourself, man, you're free. Like you don't, it doesn't matter if anyone judges you because you don't judge yourself. So it's like if somebody judges me, it's like, that's okay. Like I'm okay with me. I'm totally okay with me. And I don't want to hurt anyone, right? Like I'm not going to talk about anyone or I don't surround myself with people that do that. And I love the person that I am. I love the people that I surround myself with. I'm so grateful for my relationship. I mean, in my relationship, I can talk about now anything that comes up within me, and that was so beautiful because many of us are in relationships where we can't talk about the things that are holding us back. And we're going to talk about that throughout this podcast. We're going to do more episodes on what it means to have a partner, worth and value. This Wednesday, I have a class and it's intimate and interactive on Facebook, on my Facebook page, which is Real Talk for an Unreal World. And what I'm doing is it's called Intimate and Interactive, a guide to self-worth and value. Because I believe so many people don't know who they are. And if you don't know who you are, well, you certainly don't know your worth and your value. Or maybe you do, and it's just convoluted within the idea of who you are. So again, perspectives. That's what I offer through conversation. And for a lot of people, therapy is out of reach. It's overpriced, and for whatever reason, they can't get to it because it's overbooked. This is a form of that. We can offer a community of like-minded individuals who are looking to evolve and grow through the things that hold them back to come together and have a conversation. So I'm going to be running these classes once a week. This one is December 13th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I live in British Columbia, Canada. I'm trying to hit it at a time where I can get the East and the West kind of happening at the same time. I know the podcast is being listened to in Asia and in some other countries, which is really beautiful. And I'm going to open that up for everyone out that way as well, because let's be real, processing emotions and an inability to communicate about how we feel doesn't care about color. It doesn't care about religion. It doesn't care about invisible lines within the big, beautiful planet that we live on that call us by country names. Like people in Japan are no different than people in Canada. And people in Canada are no different than Mexico. But we're led to believe through belief systems that we are. And everything that I do is to teach you that none of that is true. And none of that is real because we are all brothers and sisters human beings a part of the human race. And I say that to you with the utmost intention of love. And it's beautiful to think about that in that way. So check the class out. The classes are going to be once a week, and I'm really excited about that. We got a lot of things coming up where this podcast is going to evolve into more of a community. I want to bring people together. I've got a public speaking deal that's been happening for those of you that have been listening to the podcasts in the previous episodes that that, but it's growing because I just talk about the things that I went through and I just tell the truth, no bullshit. When I help people, sometimes I tell them the thing that they need to hear, but maybe not right in the way. Like I don't try to like sugarcoat anything. If I see something and I hear something within you, I tell you the way it is because I know you need to hear that. And I've had some people I work with and they're like, holy shit, man. Like you don't hold back. Like you just give it to me straight. And I'm like, yeah, like you cool? And they're like, oh no. It's good. It's good. But it's different from the coaches these people have worked with. They say that my format and philosophy is different. But it works, because let's be real. Like if we're trying to evolve and we're trying to see something from a different angle, like, well, yeah, I mean, I got to tell you the truth, right? However that looks. I mean, I want that to be beautiful for you and I want that to happen quickly. And that's a big thing that I am about is making this thing happen quickly because everyone's tired. They're just tired of being depressed. They're tired of being anxious. They're tired of not growing, and the thing that is not allowing them to grow is not their bank account. That's not it. It's the limited belief systems that we have within us. So I'm really grateful to have an impact on people and have people say that they're inspired by my story. But really, I want you to inspire me. Like that's what this is. You know what I mean? I can't evolve unless all of you evolve with me because we are one and the same. So if my brothers and sisters, a part of this consciousness, this collective consciousness that we all exist in, are in low vibrational states, then my high vibrational state will not move forward unless everyone's low vibrational state has been elevated. So that's it. That's it. And that's the truth. And that's me telling you the truth. That's what I'm here for. That's what I do. I'm turning this thing into that because that's my purpose in life. That's why I'm here. That's why I survived everything I went through. And I love that. I mean, I'll give my life for that. I mean, what a beautiful purpose in life to be a part of. I found my purpose. I was 36 years old when I got out of jail, and I knew what I wanted to do with my life. So whatever stage you're at in your life, don't be beating yourself up for not having it be the way you figured it would be or the way you want it to be. You may not just know yet. And to know, you got to know yourself, and you've got to undo all the things that hold you back in your life to find that thing, because that's what I learned, right? I knew that once I was alleviated from my distractions and that I had love inside of me, that love had to be shared, period. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it. Stepping up in front of a camera or speaking on a stage in front of people was not what I thought it was going to look like, but I was compelled to do it. I was compelled to share about how I felt in a manner that would affect many, many people because that was what was demanded of me. So for me personally, I'm okay with it, right? Like that's totally fine for me. So yeah, that's how I arrived there. And I mean, I feel like with enough attention to self, you will be able to do the same thing. Because I will tell you this, I can't change you. I can't. Nobody can. So if you're trying to get changed in a relationship or your kids are going to change you and they're going to teach you about who you are, it ain't going to happen. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not going to happen. You are the only person that is going to change you. And if you don't give yourself time, attention, and energy, you will not change. And I don't like to use the word change. Actually, I like to use the word evolve because evolution is what we are here to do. That is the purpose of mankind, is to evolve together. So we've been manipulated in a system that's been built around finance and religious beliefs to control us and hold us back. And people that have an immense amount of wealth are dictating what happens for the rest of us. But something they cannot dictate is what happens inside of us. So once we alleviate ourselves from the things that hold us back, you're going to see a whole lot differently. And that's going to be really beautiful because then you're going to see like this way of life where we're divided, we're medicated, and we're led to believe that we should be scared of everything is an absolute hoax for what is real. The only thing that's real in life is love. Love is truth. And if there's an idea of God, God is love. Love is truth. I don't care what your God is or how you look at it, but that's it. That's what it is. How could it be any other thing? There's no God that's going to condemn you to a place of hell for eternity. I mean, what kind of God would do that? We're here to learn and connect, you know? The worship of self, God within, God embodied within you. That's different. And that's the thing that I teach people. That's spirituality. That's an understanding of self and the gratitude we give to this big, beautiful design that we are all here to be a part of. Because I can't take away from that. I mean, it's happening, right? Like it's absolutely happening. And I know that the connection to all of my brothers and sisters is what makes all of this thing so beautiful. So I can't deny that. So that's the essence of the collective consciousness. It's all of us. So overcoming the belief systems that we've been fed, overcoming the detriments that hold us back, such as an inability to process emotions and an inability to communicate about how we feel, and an inability to see trauma from another perspective. That is what holds us back. The judgments and the fears and the ideologies that have been given to us by somebody else. We'll overcome that. We can overcome that together because together we are stronger. But let's look at that in a sense that's actually logical and helps us all evolve. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of like being together, right? Like that's what it is. And these social media tools, they help us get that out there. So I'm grateful for that too. I'm not too big on the social media thing, but I do like that I can use this as a narrative to share about my experiences and inspire you, inspire you to grow through the things that hold you back. So moving forward, the podcast episodes, we're going to run through an ability to see certain things that hold us back so we're able to have a different perspective to change our reality, such as depression, such as anxiety, such as relationships, such as self-worth, value, how to see that and how to grow within it. So this podcast episode is basically an introduction to my new self. So I appreciate you. I do. I appreciate you. And I appreciate myself. Man, I'm so grateful that I talked about that shit. Really. Like holding that stuff in, I know how many people do it, right? And I mean, we got kids and we got wives and we can't be honest with the people that we love about the things that are holding us back. It's crazy. It is. It's crazy. I don't like to use that word, but it is. I mean, think about it. The people that we love, we trust, we respect, we can't tell them about the things that are going on inside of us, or we don't know what they are. So let's go on a journey together. Let's figure this out and let's open and heal, man. Like healing is not easy. I won't lie to you, because to take that leap of faith to actually be able to talk about how I felt was huge. I mean, I'd never done it before, so it wasn't something that I knew. So to do that out of nowhere, after 36 years was a big deal, and it wasn't easy. So it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I mean, there's no sense of telling you in 30 days you're going to be fixed, like it ain't happening like that. It's going to happen at the speed that you need it to happen at, but it will happen if you want it to, You are the only thing holding you back. That's very important to hear. You are the only thing that is holding you back. And that's the truth. But we just need a little inspiration sometimes to take that leap of faith and to do it and to go, wow, like look at this guy. Like he just says everything, But it's so liberating. So I use my own personal life as a way for you to think about this as you're going through your own life and apply that in whatever manner you see fit along your journey. I mean, that could happen at any given point, but I want you to think back on this and go, shit, like that's powerful. That's raw. Like what this guy's doing is powerful. And you know what it is? Because I've taken back my power. And that is huge. That's really important for you to understand. I don't do things for everybody else anymore. When I do this even for myself. Obviously I'm here, I want to help you, and that's what this whole message is about. We can grow together, but I had to do it for me first. And it remains to be for me because I've given you the reason why I do it. My purpose is to distribute this knowledge and through experience that I have gained this information with you. So it's beautiful because for me, this is just what I'm supposed to do. So I want you to understand that you have the same power to do this in your life. You don't have to do it in front of your camera. You don't have to do it in front of an audience. You can just do this with yourself or with those that hold you back, That's how it began to set you free. And I mean, I have all these beautiful things today. I got this podcast. I have a construction company that is paying for all this for now because I'm trying to get away from that. I got this public speaking deal that's been happening, and I'm writing a book. I also have some children's books that are currently just in illustration mode, and I've had these for quite some time, but I wasn't ready for them to be released. But they're conscious bedtime stories. They help kids understand how to process emotions, how to communicate about how they feel, how to see teachers in the world other than just within an educational institution. Learn from nature, learn from elderly, learn from First Nations, these kind of beautiful concepts that I would have loved to have known when I was a child. So the books that I write are everything that I would have liked to have known. And I showed them to a couple people and they're like, man, these are great. I sent it to a publisher and she was like, wow, this is fantastic. Like, let's get this out. So I'm finally in a place where I can do all these things. I've just moved out of the city. I'm living in a cabin. That's why, for those of you watching on YouTube, my podcast studio has changed. I have a studio kind of now in my house still, but we make it work. We're starting from the bottom, but I'm going to the top, and I say that right here, right now, because I know it and I believe it and I manifest it. And that's because everything that I want to do is authentic. And it's authenticity that is the beautiful translation of who you are, right? Because no matter what, I don't judge myself, so it doesn't matter if anyone judges me, and I tell the truth, and I do everything from a place of love. Authenticity. That's what it is. So I'm super grateful for that. And yeah, this thing's going to grow, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be big, because at the core fundamentals of everything that I'm doing is to teach people that they can overcome any obstacle that they've been through, because society said that where I was the absolute bottom, and 0.1% of people actually come out of what I came through. So I want to increase that number, and I want to help the masses evolve into something beautiful, because life is so beautiful. Even with everything that's going on in the world, we can change the world, but we have to change ourselves first, or evolve ourselves first. That's how we evolve from this current structure that we are living in, called society, which society is filled with detriments like medication and like doctors that are prescribing medication. Like, there should be way more emotional education. We will see an alleviation of disease and skin problems and all these other things. I mean, I'm trying to get my prison photo right now from when I was in there. Like, I look 10, 15 years younger. Yeah, okay, I'm not using drugs, but still, man, 10, 15 years younger. Like, what is that? You know what that is? That is the vibrational frequency of love. It has the power to give you youth, because how you think is how you feel, and how you feel is how you think. And that translates into every cell of your body. Depression, fear, anxiety, and stress will corrupt this beautiful vessel that you have. Sugar will corrupt this beautiful vessel that you have. I just throw sugar in there because sugar is shit show, man. I don't like it. And we're going to talk about that as we go, because it disrupts the vibrational frequency. So high vibrational frequencies is what I'm offering to guide you to. I don't have it all figured out, but, I'm on a journey, right? And I give my life and I dedicate my time to understanding these things. And it's beautiful to share, right? Like, I mean, shit, like, this is real. Like, this is everything that's real, in life. I'm never going to tell you to brands and like materialism. I'm going to be the guy that tells you you're going to get rich with love, right? Like, I don't want to grow your bank account. I really don't. You can figure that out on your own, because once we're done together, you're going to love yourself. You're going to understand yourself. So once you know who you are, you're going to know what you want to do. And when you know what you want to do, because you know who you are, it's going to be from a place of love. So that's going to be beautiful for you, right? Like, you don't have to do these jobs that don't offer anything other than a paycheck. Paychecks are just weird and gross. I get that they're an essential part of life. Something else we're going to talk about and learn along this journey is our relationship with money. And this was a big one for me because when I changed, I was like, money's bullshit. I don't want anything to do with it. It's a tool of control. It tells people I'm better, tells people they're less, whatever it may be. I want nothing to do with it. But I got schooled over the last 3.5 years that money is a tool, and it's your relationship with money. So if we have an ability to make money, which I do, we have an ability to distribute that wealth how we see fit. So all of the money that I make over the course of this journey, which you're going to be on, which you're going to see, I'm going to give away. Obviously, I'm going to have a place where I can be comfortable within myself, but I'm going to show you also what that looks like because it's very minimal and it actually includes many other people because I live in a community, and a community is a beautiful thing. We're going to talk a lot about that as well. So this was great. I feel like this is like the best episode I've ever done. Only because, oh shit, I feel like myself, just these doors, this magic, this beautiful thing inside of me has been open, man. Like, so I want to open that inside of you because like I'm finally ready. I'm here, I'm really here. Long time. I just turned 40. Shit. Just turned 40. Oh well, it was a good ride. It was a good ride. Now I'm gonna make these other, whatever my time here is on this planet, like I'm gonna make the best of it. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's a year or 2 years, it doesn't matter to me. I live every day like it's my last because I love it. I love life, and I just love that I'm a part of this experience, and I just want to do the best thing I can do for my brothers and sisters out there, and just do something different, do something cool, right? Like, dude, this is cool to me. Like, this is what's cool to me. So these are the things that I love. I want to bring on cool people, which I'm doing. I got them lined up, and they're going to teach you about energy. They're going to teach you about intuition. They're going to teach you about holistic medicines, plant medicine, beautiful things. We're going to bring other people on that have wonderful, crazy ass stories, just like mine, and teach you that a life, it doesn't matter what it's been filled with, has a potential to evolve from whatever the chaos was that it once was, because the past is the past, the present's the only thing that matters, and it's what we learn from our past that puts us in the present. So much love, man. Much love for everyone for listening to this. I'm vibing right now. I really am. I'm like, shit, I'm doing good. Yeah, I am though. I like it. It's a good feeling because I've been a mess for like 3.5 years. So I've been a mess. And I can admit that. I've been a mess. But I'm not anymore. Man, it feels so good. So I'm just happy to share that with you. So get on this ride with me. You know what I'm saying? Share the podcast with other people, like this episode in particular. So people understand like what I'm about, what I'm doing, what I've been through, and what I've gained, the evolution, right? Like I want people to know this. And if you are looking to help anybody who knows mental, emotional, addiction, health, like hit me up. You know what I mean? Yeah, I love that. I've got time right now, so I spend a lot of time with a lot of people trying to help them evolve. So please always reach out to me. My social medias are the Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok are Real Talk for an Unreal World at Gmail. Oh, no, shit. Real Talk for an Unreal World. My Twitter is Real Talk, the number 4 Unreal. And my email, very important email, message me about anything you got going on in your life, and I will help you. I will help you through whatever I can help you through, see something differently. And that is Real Talk for an Unreal World at gmail.com. Anybody who's listening to this that's looking to have a speaker come to their facility within addiction, schools, anything like that, I have a platform that I do this with now. So you can email me to book me or whatever it may be, because I speak real. I speak from the heart. I'm doing this for the government of Canada right now. I'm a consultant for community living programs within addiction facilities and mental, emotional health. So I actually speak to the professionals within the organization as an individual who experienced all these things but alleviated himself from this, and they want to learn how, and they want to learn how to help. So I do that as well. So this is multifaceted. Anything that hits for you hits for me. So call me or message me, and then you call me and we can have a conversation. So, but really, guys, I want you to know how much I appreciate you, and I need you to understand that none of this is possible without you. So please give yourself an immense amount of gratitude in this moment for listening to this entire podcast. And please shoot me a message on something and let me know what this podcast did for you. That would be really important to me because I love feedback and I've not really been in a place where I've been asking for that. But yeah, man, if you're following my stuff, send me a message on Instagram. Maybe Instagram would probably be the best one, or an email. I don't know, whatever you want to do, but just reach out to me, please, and let me know what episode 26 did for you. I really, really would appreciate that. So I love you, and man, like this is it. Here we go. Like I'm gonna cut another episode for next week. So weekly podcasts, I'd like to put them up every Wednesday because that's the middle of the week. And usually people need a kick in the ass in the middle of the week because man, work sucks, right? So the 9 to 5 is just like whatever. But yeah, let's do podcast episodes every Wednesday, and I'm gonna stick to that. So love you and much love. Thank you.